You know, I have to talk about Starbucks for a minute. Starbucks Nation. I think that we're becoming Starbucks Nation. I'm not going to Starbucks anymore, and I'm not boycotting them. I love Starbucks. I mean, Starbucks coffee, I always thought was great. It's stronger. You know, I love really strong coffee. Only my wife makes the coffee I like outside of Starbucks. She really, I don't know what it is. It's that magic wife touch she has, but partly it's her coffee. As the old joke goes, the spoon stands up on it. In her coffee, the spoon doesn't only stand up, it kind of does a dance. It goes like, ooh, I feel good. It's good to be in this coffee because it's so strong. And Starbucks coffee is strong, like European coffee. I used to love coffee in Europe. They come over here and they think our coffee tastes like water with a little ground in it. You know, and I like that European coffee. I like Starbucks coffee. I'm not going in there anymore until they straighten themselves out. Starbucks is not a bigoted company. Starbucks is not a racist company. There's nothing racist about Starbucks at all. Not a thing, nada, nothing. But they bought into this thing. They got played by a couple of guys who came in and sat there and tried to use their bathroom, didn't buy anything, refused to buy anything, refused to leave when the police told them to leave. Refused to leave when the police told them to leave. They weren't buying anything. They were violating store rules and they refused to leave. And that's my problem. That's a race problem. That's not a race problem. That's a loitering problem. That's a trespass problem. So the first thing Starbucks, of course, has been apologizing. Oh, okay, now everybody can use any drug dealer who wants to come in and use it, you know, go in, smoke, drink. But now they're saying, well, no, you can't do that. And you can't use drugs and you can't. So now they're going to police that. But the underlying, there's two problems here that really have turned me against Starbucks. One is that they accepted this kind of bullying. They didn't just say, hey, are you kidding me? We hire all kinds of people. We serve all kinds of people. We don't have a problem. The problem was these two guys. That was the problem. They didn't have the nerve. They didn't have the nerve because they live in that leftist universe where anytime somebody says racist, you're supposed to fall over and cower and curl up in the corner and say, "Oh my gosh, you know, please beat me, like it's just like a Stalin show trial that you're supposed to come out with the sign, I apologize, and all this stuff." They didn't stand up for themselves. That's the first thing. But the second thing is they have accepted the underlying idea that business is bad. The reason you have to buy something when you go into a Starbucks, or should have to buy something before you can use their facilities, is because they are a business. They're not just a meeting place, like one of these clowns said. They're not just like some, the third way of getting together, a place we can sit together. They're a business. They make their living doing this. Now, the thing about capitalism, I mean, we're talking about the virtue signaling. And the thing about capitalism is it doesn't give you a lot of chance to virtue signal because capitalism uses our natural greed and ambition so that it serves other people. In capitalism, if I obey the law and I want to get rich and I want to have my ambitions, I got to do something that you like give you a cup of coffee you're willing to overpay for because Starbucks is overpriced, but the coffee is so good and the place is so nice that you pay the overprice for that. You pay it for the experience. But there's no virtue signaling in that. You have to choose to be good under capitalism. You have to choose to say, yeah, I made a lot of money and I'm going to give some of it here. And most of these guys do. Most of these billionaires, they give plenty of money away. Most millionaires give plenty of money away. Capitalism does have a lot of charity in it, but it's individual charity. It's not enforced charity like socialism. So people don't like capitalism because it doesn't make them feel good because they're not forcing other people to give money away. You have to have your own righteousness. You have to do it. So what they accepted was that there was something inherently wrong in their being a business. They not only accepted this baloney of this race-mongering baloney, which I just is appalling to me. I don't know why every business doesn't do what Chick-fil-A did and stand up for their right to have their own beliefs and their right to have their own world and the way they run their business. But they accepted the idea that it was wrong that they were a business. This is the Silicon Valley syndrome. We're changing the world. We're not just inventing iPhones. We're changing the world. You know how you change the world? You invent an iPhone and you make billions of dollars for it, and the world is a better place because we chose your iPhone because it made our world better. That's why we gave you the money for it. They accepted this notion that they were somehow just the friendly face, and it wasn't friendly if you had to pay. You have to pay because it's a business. You have to pay because that's how they make their living. And I just find it appalling that they let this happen. And we see you. We see the world of the left. We see it eating its own. We see it taking an innocent company like Starbucks, which is just selling an overpriced cup of coffee in a nice place, and we see them being accused of racism and that they have to fall to their knees like somebody at a Stalinist show trial. That to me is just appalling, and it's appalling they fell for it, and I ain't going in there until they knock it off. And I don't think I'll ever go back in there unless they actually turn around, which is very unlikely.